Welcome back, Eagles fans. Today, we have to dig into some of the biggest questions surrounding the Eagles coaching staff, especially when it comes to the offense and what the future holds. The news about Jeff Stoutland staying on has been heavy, and honestly, it hit a little hard for me. This is a guy who has been the backbone of the offensive line for more than a decade. 13 years in one position is almost unheard of these days, and in that time, he's led the Eagles through multiple offensive schemes, 2 Super Bowl wins, and countless transitions in personnel. Rarely, if ever, has anyone publicly criticized him, and that speaks volumes about the level of respect he commands within the organization and the league. Now, there's been talk about his tenure coming to an end, some whispers that maybe his time has run its course. But if you look at the facts, those claims don't hold up under scrutiny. Over the past 13 years, the offensive line has struggled in just a couple of seasons, and even those were complicated by circumstances beyond Stoutland's control. Take the time when Carson Wentz was quarterback. Many blamed the offensive line for all the sacks and pressures, but if you analyze the tape, the truth is that Wentz tended to hold the ball too long, often leaving the line exposed. That timing issue created a lot of the chaos people blamed on Stoutland, and yet he remained consistent in coaching his unit to perform under difficult conditions. Even last season, the struggles of the offensive line were mostly injury-related. Key players like Lane Johnson and Cam Jurgens were not at full strength, and Landon Dickerson was also limited. Jordan Mailata had his own issues that affected the run game, and the ripple effects impacted the passing game too. But none of this was really on Stoutland. Given a healthy roster, I genuinely believe he could have turned things around quickly. His approach to coaching is methodical, smart, and built on experience. Some voices in the media suggested taking away his responsibilities in the run game or limiting his play-calling authority, and I've always felt that was misguided. There are ways to improve, to adapt, to tweak the offense, but taking away duties from someone who has been consistently excellent and deeply respected felt wrong, almost disrespectful. What happened last year with Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni only compounded the issue. They effectively bypassed Stoutland when it came to planning the run game, making decisions without consulting him and essentially sidelining a legend in the process. It's one thing to suggest a new strategy or experiment with play calling, but to completely remove someone of Stoutland's caliber from the process and act as though he doesn't matter was disrespectful. Consider the fact that under his guidance, a year prior, the Eagles running back nearly broke records for total yards. The success of the run game was undeniable, and to ignore that history in order to push a new agenda was short-sighted. It's understandable that Stoutland might feel it was time to step back, and I respect him for staying professional throughout this. Switching gears to the topic of quarterbacks and potential new coaches, there's been a lot of discussion about who could come in to support Jalen Hurts. The idea of bringing in a young coach like Connor Sager has been floated. Sager is only 30 years old and has already made some waves, particularly with his work with Kyler Murray. He's getting looks from other teams like the Bills and the Bears as well, which shows he's in demand. But personally, I'm cautious about adding another young, relatively inexperienced voice to the mix, especially around a quarterback like Hurts and under a head coach who is still finding his rhythm in play calling. What we need is experience, someone who can guide the young talent without disrupting the flow or causing unnecessary tension. That brings us to Greg Olsen, formerly the interim offensive coordinator for the Raiders. Olsen is a seasoned NFL veteran, well-respected, and known for his ability to mentor both young players and coaches. He even worked with Jalen Hurts at some point, giving him insight into the quarterback style and tendencies. Having someone like Olsen in the building provides a stabilizing presence. Just as a dominant defense needs veterans to guide rookies and younger players, the offense can benefit from experienced coaches who understand the game at a high level. Olsen's presence could give the younger coaches the room to grow while ensuring the team maintains strategic consistency and culture. Scott Turner, or Scott Lelayer, deserves recognition here too. His contributions, particularly in the red zone, were significant. The way he adapted plays to fit Hurts' strengths helped maximize opportunities and record-breaking performances from Dallas Goedert. This is the kind of coaching acumen that often goes unnoticed when headlines focus solely on the head coach or the play-calling changes. The nuances, the adjustments, and the ability to identify what works in critical moments are what set great coaches apart, and Lelayer demonstrated that consistently. While the organization may be moving in a new direction, it's important to acknowledge the tangible impact he had on the team's success last season. Returning to Stoutland, the takeaway is clear. His value goes far beyond a single season or one particular scheme. He's a teacher, a mentor, and a steadying influence on the Eagles' offensive line. Removing his responsibilities or sidelining him during a transitional period was never about performance. It was about internal politics and decision-making that didn't always make sense from a football perspective. The line has thrived under his leadership when healthy, and the mistakes of the past year were more circumstantial than reflective of his skill or dedication. There's a reason he has remained in one of the most demanding positions in the NFL for over a decade, while earning universal respect from players and peers alike. Looking forward, the quarterback coaching situation will be critical. The Eagles need someone who balances youth and innovation with experience and stability. A young coach can bring energy and fresh ideas, but without seasoned mentors like Olsen or someone of Stoutland's caliber nearby, the risk of missteps increases. Hurts is talented and adaptable, but even the best players benefit from coaches who can guide them through nuanced situations, adjust in real time, and maintain the rhythm of the game. The mix of young and experienced coaching talent will likely define the offense's success in the coming seasons, and the organization must approach these decisions with care to ensure continuity, growth, and respect for the veterans who have shaped the team's identity. The Eagles' coaching staff is more than just names on a chart. It's about leadership, mentorship, and the ability to adapt while keeping the core principles intact. Decisions about who calls plays, who handles the run game, and who develops quarterbacks are never trivial. They affect locker room dynamics, player confidence, and ultimately, wins and losses on the field. Fans want results, but results come from structure, communication, and a shared vision. That vision has to honor those who have proven themselves while integrating new ideas in a thoughtful way. As we move into the next chapter of Eagles football, these coaching choices will be scrutinized, but the goal remains the same. A cohesive offense capable of competing at the highest level and maintaining the culture of excellence that has been built over the years. Continuing on the topic of the Eagles coaching staff, it's impossible to ignore how critical the dynamic between the quarterback and his coaches will be moving forward. Jalen Hurts is a unique talent, athletic, versatile, and with a mind for the game. But like any quarterback, he thrives in an environment where coaching clarity and consistency are present. The right quarterback coach can make a huge difference in how a player processes the field, reads defenses, and executes under pressure. Bringing in a coach who blends experience with adaptability can help Hurts maximize his potential, especially as he continues to face elite defenses week in and week out. The quarterback room is not just about teaching mechanics or reading progressions. It's about understanding tendencies, building confidence, and creating a rhythm that aligns with the offensive scheme. Someone like Greg Olsen offers a blueprint for how that can work effectively. His long history in the NFL means he's seen nearly every scenario a quarterback can face. He knows how to communicate adjustments, how to calm players when things get tense, and how to integrate innovative ideas without disrupting the core system. Pairing a younger, energetic coach with a veteran presence creates a balance. Hurts gets the creativity and enthusiasm he needs from someone like a Sager-level coach, while Olsen or another seasoned mentor ensures that the fundamentals remain rock solid. Another aspect that cannot be overstated is the psychology of the locker room. The Eagles have a mix of young stars and seasoned veterans, each with their own experiences and expectations. Coaching decisions affect morale, trust, and how players view the hierarchy. When decisions are made without consulting key figures like Stoutland or even Scott Laylair, it can create subtle fractures that aren't immediately visible but impact performance on game day. Respecting experience while integrating new voices is a delicate balance, yet it's essential for creating an environment where players feel supported and motivated. The mistakes of last season, where run game responsibilities were reallocated without proper communication, serve as a reminder of how easily mismanagement can undermine team chemistry, even with the most talented roster. When evaluating the potential new additions to the coaching staff, it's also crucial to consider the broader offensive philosophy. The Eagles have built a versatile offense, capable of both power running and dynamic play-action passing. Maintaining that balance requires coaches who understand the subtleties of timing, leverage, and matchups. The offensive line is the engine that drives this system, and Stoutland has proven time and again that he can develop talent, adjust to injuries, and maintain a cohesive unit. Pairing his experience with a quarterback coach who understands Hurts' unique skill set ensures that the entire offensive structure remains synchronized, from line calls to route adjustments and in-game audibles. Red zone efficiency is another area that highlights the importance of coaching collaboration. Scott Laylayer's work in the red zone, tailoring schemes to Hurts' strengths, was critical to record-breaking production from players like Dallas Goedert. This level of detail and attention to player tendencies cannot be replicated without experience. It's about anticipating defensive adjustments, knowing which mismatches to exploit, and communicating clearly to ensure everyone on the field understands their role. Losing that type of insight can slow development and reduce scoring opportunities, even if other aspects of the offense are functioning well. Looking at the young coaches emerging around the league, there is undeniable excitement about their potential. Coaches like Connor Sager bring energy, creativity, and a fresh perspective, which is valuable in developing adaptive offensive strategies. However, raw energy alone cannot replace seasoned judgment, especially in critical game situations. Young coaches excel in collaborative environments where they can experiment, but they need guidance to prevent missteps that can cost games. The Eagles' challenge is integrating new talent without disrupting the balance that veterans like Stoutland provide. Finding coaches who can complement the current staff while enhancing the quarterback's development is a strategic puzzle that requires careful thought and foresight. Injury management and player development remain central to offensive success. When the line is healthy, the running game thrives, creating space for passing opportunities and improving overall efficiency. Last season's injuries exposed how fragile an offense can become without depth and preparation. This highlights the importance of having experienced coaches who can adjust schemes on the fly, rotate personnel intelligently, and maintain confidence in younger players stepping into larger roles. Stoutland's track record shows that he excels under these conditions, nurturing talent while keeping the system operational even in adverse situations. Another factor to consider is the synergy between the head coach and his offensive assistants. Sean Mann is young and still establishing his identity as a play caller, which is natural for a coach early in his career. Supporting him with experienced voices in the room ensures that innovation does not come at the expense of execution. Veteran coaches provide a framework, guiding decision-making during critical moments and helping the team avoid pitfalls common in high-pressure scenarios. This mentorship creates an environment where young coaches can learn and grow without compromising team performance, leading to sustainable long-term success. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. Whispers are growing louder around the league, and inside NFC circles the feeling is that something big may be brewing. Sources close to front offices suggest the Philadelphia Eagles are at least exploring the possibility of a bold move for star cornerback TREVON DIGGS, a name that alone is enough to change the temperature of any playoff conversation. Nothing is confirmed, nothing is signed, but the mere idea has already sent shockwaves through rivals and fans alike. DIGGS is more than a defensive back. He is a tone setter, a playmaker who thrives on risk and reward. Pairing that style with an Eagles roster built on pressure, speed, and opportunism has sparked intense debate among executives and analysts. The logic is easy to follow. Philadelphia's defense has been searching for another true game-changer in the secondary, someone who can flip momentum with a single snap. DIGGS fits that profile almost too well. From Dallas' perspective, the rumors are unsettling. Losing a player of DIGGS' caliber inside the same conference, potentially to a direct rival, would feel less like a transaction and more like a strategic blow. Even if talks never reach a formal stage, the speculation alone highlights how thin the margins are at the top of the NFC. Every move is scrutinized not just for talent, but for who gains leverage in the inevitable playoff chess match. Around the league, there is a sense that this is the kind of rumor that doesn't appear without reason. Philadelphia has never been shy about aggressive decisions, especially when a championship window feels open. DIGGS, meanwhile, represents both immediate impact and long-term star power. Whether this remains smoke or turns into fire, one thing is clear: the NFC is on edge. If the Eagles truly make a push, the balance of power could tilt in a way that forces every contender to rethink its path forward. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.